Okay, good evening, everybody. This is episode 303 of the John1911 podcast, and yes, we are alive. So I appreciate all the welfare checks and well wishes. We had to take a sabbatical because we needed to bring the store online. And having an online store, you would think it'd be like it's like having a website. Well, you have to have an infrastructure in the background to support an online store. And unfortunately, most of that falls on my shoulders. So we had to perfect shipping and receiving and packaging and, process for, setting up the inventory so we could manage the inventory and pull the inventory. Because one thing we're doing differently with the store this time compared to our tactical t-shirts days is we are not screening shirts as we were on, per order. We've already had some stuff made with a contract printer, I guess is what you call them, and an outside print shop that just all they do is print shirts, and they print things in shirts in this case. And so we have to know what we have in stock. We have to know where it is, and we have to do all the things to fill the orders. And so we've been working very hard to get the store online. We did do, as many of you are aware, we did do a kind of a test sale right before Christmas and worked out some kinks. And I was working pretty hard to not have any more kinks or things show up into the system. But being old and experienced, I knew that as soon as I took the store live, there would be problems. And things popped up unexpectedly starting on Saturday. Today is Sunday night. We started accepting orders for the shirts on Saturday, and immediately we had a couple things come up. For example, if you were on mobile for a short while, you could not actually go. There's a little... I joke about this, and if on a mobile friendly, on the John1911 website, there's like 4 little squares in the upper left hand corner. And I apologize if your phone doesn't look exactly like this. My website doesn't look like this on your phone. I do the best I can, but I don't know how everything renders. Some of it I have to leave it up to the programmers. But anyway, you're supposed to touch these 4 little squares, and it'll bring up the menu, as opposed to like on a desktop or a tablet. When you go to our website, you can always the menu shown up at the top. Well, you hit these little things. I'm hitting these little things, and it's not working. And so I couldn't help but I'm talking to the programmer. I'm trying to describe what the problem is, and he's like, it works on my phone, and and doing all the back and forth, and I'm actually in DC, and it's just a mess. And I felt like there's a movie where who's John Rambo? What's his name? Sylvester Stallone, I guess goes in cryo freeze. Is it Judge Dredd? Or I don't know whatever it is, but where he ends up going into the future, and they take him out of cryo freeze, and there's a scene where he has to go to the bathroom, and he's like, there's no toilet paper. And, everyone's like, you don't know about just use the 3 seashells. And he's like, I don't know how to use the 3 seashells. And I felt like trying to describe all this to the programmer, I felt like I was having a 3 seashells conversation. So anyway, too much about that. So all the orders that have come in as of this evening, so today's Monday. Did I say it was Sunday? Today's Monday night. All the orders that have come in as of Monday night have been processed and shipped. We will obviously do some stuff, in the morning. We'll get it out earlier in the morning. As far as the things that come up, speaking of the 3 seashells, everyone that got their order shipped today, you will not have a paper invoice in your order because, we set up this inventory control system, and then there's like you print out the order sheets, and you pull the right inventory, and then we got to mix and match inventory because now we're selling hard products, not just not just shirts. There could be cups, and there's going to be other things. And so it could get, trying to figure out how the best shipping, and all of a sudden, blammo, software doesn't print invoices, and it's like, what do you mean? Like, we're trying to fill orders. And so we had to walk it all through by hand and keep checking, going back to computers, literally between two computers, to get these orders together. So unfortunately, they're high quality. It's high quality products. The shirts are super high quality. But the ceramic mugs are actually made in the United States. They're made in America, made in the U.S., handmade, super high quality. But no invoices. So we're doing the best we can. So that's kind of how it goes. Also, again, I'm going on and on about the store, but I've been gone for almost a month, and so you're going to hear about the store. We instituted a new system where when we ship you an order, we have whoever is delivering the order. So like if it's UPS or the United States Postal Service, they will send you a tracking number. Well, we did that, but I have no real way of, without making it complicated, I have no real way of seeing if that worked. So if any of you got tracking information from us today on an order, if you could forward me one of those, podcast at John1911.com, I'd like to see what's in the email. I like to see what it looks like, what the header's like, what's in it. Does it have, I don't know, is it just a number, or does it have your name and your, whatever the label information, or, whatever you wanted, the shipping address. So, it's a process. Let's see what else is going on. I would say, for those that are going to ask, you didn't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Of the two shirts, the two most we released 5 shirts, and you will probably notice kind of a theme. They're more of a there's a little bit more to the to the thought processes behind these shirts, philosophically. I'm not going to say every shirt's going to be like complicated, have all these meanings, but these first 5, this is kind of really showing where we're going and who we are, and we're kind of what's going on. So the two most popular shirts by far would be what I would call the John1911 Cross, and the other one is Stay Zeroed, my friends. And I thought that was interesting because those are the two most blatantly philosophically pertinent designs or messages of John 1911. Stay Zeroed, my friends, obviously is a reference to shooting guns and having fun. But if you read the description of Stay Zeroed and you think about it, it's not just staying zeroed, it's about maintaining zero and confirming zero and mastering zero. And then when you get beyond the gun, you can talk about staying zeroed in your life, staying zeroed in your task, staying zeroed in your day, staying zeroed in your the goals, or your daily goals, your medium-term goals, and your long-term goals. So there's a lot going on there. The John 1911 shirts, obviously John 1911, but there's also a John chapter 19 verse 11 out of the Bible. Some people will say that's a coincidence. I do not believe in coincidences, especially as I'm getting older and more experienced. It's just how it is. So those are the two most popular shirts right now. As far as things beyond the shirts, we're still working on that. Couple things going on. I can't say too much, but the Blaser people, my Blaser peeps, and we're way behind on Blaser rifle projects. and I apologize for that, but we've had to deal with the priorities of other things. My Blaser people, my Tactical 2 LRS2 people will be very happy shortly. Big project is finally wrapping up, and we'll be able to release it soon. We just got to work out of a couple things. We're coordinating with the government on some of it, and if those of you that would know what that is, you know what I just said. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. It'll hit the website. You'll be totally happy. Now, I guess more to the regular kind of podcast content. This is not going to be a super long podcast. It's really just a proof of life, fogging the mirror, let you guys know, this is the audio version of me blinking hostage, or torture, from, was it the North Korean? Yeah. The pilot in North Korea that was blinking torture, when he was being interrogated by the North Koreans in Morse code. That's a pretty famous, newsreel, if you ever get a chance to look it up. So, not a beer drinker. And obviously we've missed a lot of the political machinations and back and forth with the drama with like Bud Light is ongoing. Look, I will say this. Last I heard, Kraken told me that I think Bud Light's market cap was down $27 or $32 billion. And oh boy, I have to admit, I did not think that this would go on this long or this steeply. And, I have to be fair here. And I have to be hard on AB InBev. I'm going to call him Budweiser, because not that I know who AB in, like I knew who AB InBev was, 30 days ago. I didn't know who the hell that was. Bud Light, I thought, was just a company, a freestanding company. I was pretty hard on our social media over the years on a company called H&K. And the arguments that I made about H&K being such a poorly run company that it's actually stupid. And you could even make an argument that they violated their fiduciary responsibilities to their stakeholders on a lot of the decisions they made. And all the while also, H&K, all the while also allowing competitors and clones to make the money on top of the fact that H&K was going broke and needed money. You kind of see where I'm going here. There's an argument to be made of malfeasance or a violation of the fiduciary responsibility of running a company. And so if I'm going to say all that about H&K, and I don't know what the media or what the talking heads are saying about Bud Light, but there's got to come a point here. And I don't know politically when this is going to happen or what's going to, but there is $30 billion in market capitalization. I don't know who is invested in Bud Light or AB InBev. I don't know if it's institutional investors, 401ks, but there comes a point when you've lost so much money that shareholders will start suing the board, for their decisions. And they're going to want to know, what did you know? When did you know it? Who approved this? Because you can start, you're not allowed to just go out and just piss people's money away. And you almost have to think okay, so to make this point, you run a company this poorly, that is this well capitalized, that they've lost a quarter of their capitalization, I think. To do that and think that you're not going to get sued is I would say immature. Like it's just not. It's not something the media is talking about. It's not something that even the news channels are talking about or the business community's talking about. But everybody knows this is coming, and there's going to be a lot of people that get fired or like as a not more than just leave of absence. We just have to see how it plays out. But there's a lot more coming here with this Bud Light story. Follow-up question: We had a email from a listener, and he's just hit me straight up with it. Why do high end 19 guys hate Tisas so much? Tisas 1911s, and I've been somewhat critical on Tisas. And how do I say this? When the Tisas showed up on the market and they were $400 and some dollars, and they were reproducing like the GI clones with the quality of guns coming out of Turkey, that's a good buy. That makes sense. Seeing Tisas trying to make a run at Kimber, breaking, now they're over $1,000, and it's like, no. I mean, it's not no, but if there's better, maybe there's the value proposition of the money is not quite there. And one thing about the value proposition of money is it doesn't go in a straight line. It goes exponentially. It's cubed. It goes up in a curve. And so it's not double, it's more than double, it's tripled. And the lack of the value proposition is also tripled. And that's the only criticism I have with Tisas is if Tisas wants to stay as a quality budget priced pistol, goodbye. If Tisas wants to try to, this is what always happens. This always happens in the U.S. gun market. This is the dream. Is you come up with it, you enter with a product, and it gets good reviews. But then the company gets hungry, and they decide, well, if we can be good at this level, why don't we let's take all of that positive feedback and pretend that it was really talking about guns 2 levels above. And nobody was saying that. Nobody was singing the praises of the $400 Tisas GI pistols, saying that they were as good as semi-custom guns. Nobody was saying that. They just were saying, oh, this is a good gun for the price, and, good gun. And all of a sudden, good gun, some people turns into, I'm endorsing this gun, or this is the gun. It's like, no. That's all I'm saying. Just slow your roll on the Tisas, look at the numbers, see if it makes sense. Don't buy the hype. Okay, gotta say this one. This one was hilarious. This made me chuckle. This was someone on our social media. I wish I could remember who you were, but it was a couple weeks ago. I had shot some videos shooting 45 ACP chambered 1911s, doing some of the 1911 specific drills and indoor gun range drills that I film outdoors. And had a loose round in my pocket, went to throw it in the washing machine, didn't realize it. Took it out of the washing machine, and, there's a 45 ACP round. Took a picture, just posted it up. It's like just a throwaway. It doesn't even make the website. Just, throw it up on Instagram so it shows up on Facebook like, oh, it's been a long time since I've done this. And, look, you get all kinds. Most comments are more reflection of the people leaving the comment than they are actually of me. Like, you'll get the guys that roll in, and, they want to say how dumb I am, or, how unprofessional I am, or how, I don't know, whatever it is, like, how dare I leave a loaded round in my pocket, and just, it's like, they're holier than thou, and it's like, oh, perish the thought. Like, okay. I don't know what kind of life you're living, buddy. Go home and beat your wife or whatever it is you do. Don't come at me in my comment section. But there was a guy And he left a comment that was so hilarious. I still chuckle even now when I think about it. And this, talking about the guy telling, the guy who beats his wife, I've said this before. There are two types of people in the world. There's those that get the joke and those who don't. And I always strive to be a person that gets the joke. So a joke at my expense is not a bad thing, but I want it to be a good joke. Yeah, you just don't need to try to stab me in the eye. Just, give me something new. And this guy put the, photograph 45 ACP round sitting on the lip of the washing machine or in front of the washing machine. And the guy goes, did the washing machine malfunction? And I thought that was so great. I was like, dude, that comment made my whole day that day. And I mean, seriously, like we're John 1911. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm going to get you after I get done figuring out how to get the 3 seashells to work. I mean, it just was fun. And, we need a little bit of fun. And I just wanted to share it with you. Did the washing machine malfunction? So we're not going to, this is going to be a short episode. We're going to be back to a normal schedule. We're going to probably do 3 podcasts this week. So we'll get everybody back up, recovering from your DTs and back up to normal. We'll do a Danny pod. We'll do a Kraken pod. And hopefully maybe I can do a pod with all 3 of us. So I saw this story. I'm not going to read the whole story, but it's like the hunting news. And this came out of Yellowstone, and we're definitely in silly season where all the city folks decide to go out onto their great American vacation. And we deal with this every year, that they project their human emotions or their humanity. Maybe their humanity is the wrong way to put it, because people don't quite understand that. People will project human situations onto wild animals. And this is normally a recipe for disaster. And in many instances, you end up killing the animal. And we've had such one case out of Yellowstone. Rangers report that some people, they're in Yellowstone. I don't know if they were driving or on a trail, or they must have been near a car, but they ran across a baby elk. And, they decided that the baby elk that they had run across somehow must be like a stray dog or a domesticated cat that is on their back porch, and they need to rescue this animal. And so what they did is they take the baby elk, and they picked the baby elk up, and they literally put it in their car, and they drove the baby elk to the ranger station. Now, they were charged, fined, I'm technically arrested, but they were just charged and released, and told, hopefully educated, why you should not do this. Not just because of the deer ticks, but that elk is in many instances in the wild, a baby animal is in an area because mom is off doing something and expects to come back and find that animal. And if you've disturbed that animal or touched that animal, or heaven forbid, you have picked that animal up and moved that animal, and now you have your scent on that animal, sometimes, even if you can reunite the baby elk with the mom may never accept the baby elk again. So you, in many ways, have killed this animal. And look, I'm sympathetic. We see this kind of stuff all the time. Not all the time. We see it a couple times a year at the John 1911 range, when we're cutting in the back in the fields, by the woods, and the grass gets tall and the deer like to lay up in it. It'll be the spring, and some little baby fawn will pop up and run into the woods. And what it was is that little deer was laid up waiting for mom to come back. And its defense mechanism is to be invisible. and not be seen. And we're getting closer and closer and closer and closer with, our bush hog, and it finally gets up and runs away. And, it's easy to project, this human emotions. Oh, little baby, I'm so sorry. And, I guess in a way I am, but if you get involved with that animal and you try to track that animal down and try to save the animal, like, oh my God, I disturbed its nest, or whatever it is, some kabuki theater you have in your mind, your chances of your actions resulting in the death of an animal are very common. It's very likely. And so PSA, don't do that kind of stuff. We're going to do a little police blotter. This is going to be a little bit different. There's 3 stories that I wanted to talk about. So the first one is there's a store called Lululemon, and I'm not going to claim I know exactly what Lululemon is, but I believe the phrase on CNBC, they call it athleisure wear, so athletic and leisure wear. So like yoga clothes, yoga pants, and the can't call them jumpsuits, like the spandex jumpsuits that a lot of the women wear. So yoga stuff, like that, all that stuff. So there was it's apparently expensive. It's expensive stuff. It's like the 511 of or I don't know, like what would be, I don't know, not what's the Arterex, whatever it is. It's like the high end yoga pants. And so apparently high end enough that bands of thieves in Atlanta will run into a store, grab armfuls of this stuff, and run out because they can sell it on the street or resell it, do whatever they want to do. And a couple women, older women, I mean, like not kids, went chasing after these people because it's a robbery. And Lululemon fired them. They fired these 2 people, and it's like, I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say that sucks because now you're just making it worse. But this is America, and we're a litigious society. And if the Lululemon people went out there and caught one of these people and, I don't know, broke, someone got their leg broken in some scuffle, the thief is going to pop up with a lawyer and sue Lululemon. Or what if the thief pulls out a gun, starts shooting bullets, and injures a disinterested third party? Who's going to get sued? Someone's going to get sued. Well, the criminal who doesn't have any money isn't going to get sued. The employee who probably doesn't have any money isn't going to get sued. Realistically, Lululemon's going to get sued. And when you allow these types of suits to happen, you have CEOs that are like, I'd rather you let them run out with the clothes than us get a $25 million lawsuit. So I'm telling you that story to tell you this story. There's another, this was a dollar store, Dollar General store, a dollar store. That's what I have it written down as. A guy, I guess he had stolen some stuff. Maybe it was a woman. A person had stolen some stuff out of the store, successfully ran out. And so the Dollar General, as unlike the fancy Lululemon, the Dollar General store people, I think it was a woman as well. They hopped in a car, and they ran this guy down on a bike. And you can see it on like a doorbell Ring camera, but basically where the bike is crossing in front of he's on a sidewalk crossing in a driveway. The driver of the Dollar General driver basically, just kind of fenders the guy, knocks him down. Well, it's a big old giant, I'm holier than thou. I'm right. You're wrong. I have all the time in the world to give the right answers. Everything you decided to do was the wrong answer. We can play this game all day on the internet, but it's another case. I personally am like the fact that the Lululemon people ran after the thieves. I personally like the fact that the dollar store worker ran down. Like, I didn't want to murder. I mean, like, kill the person. Like, just tapped them on their bicycle, Pete. And then, like, give me my shit back. I personally am in favor of that. Now, the third story in the police blotter is going to go way back. It's in the 80s, and this happened at a Pizza Hut. And what had happened is, because it's a Pizza Hut, somebody had come in, ordered some kind of food and a pizza, and skipped out, didn't pay. And the reason I can tell you about this story is because at the time, I, as a teenager, was a cook at the Pizza Hut. And so I was in the cook side. My best friend was over in the dishwasher side. And the waitresses were also, I hate to admit this now, because I wouldn't have agreed with this back then. We're like 16, and like all the waitresses are like college, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, and it's because they can serve alcohol and do all this kind of stuff. And so, we might have been trying to impress the girls. But anyway, one of the waitresses screeches. He's running, or he didn't pay. Literally, my buddy, he comes busting out of the dishwasher area on one side of the store. I Kojak jumped over the cash register over in the kitchen, and we go busting out into the parking lot after this guy. And then we end up getting we each got into cars. We got into our cars, and we we chased this guy through this suburban neighborhood up behind a hill, up behind the Pizza Hut where this guy probably lived. And so, and actually, my best friend and I, as we're going back and forth, I drove a little crappy little Econobox Japanese car, and he drove this big 1960s freaking, I don't know, Freightliner giant vehicle. And, we might have slightly scraped, some fenders trying to weave by each other to do some stuff. And so, if anything, I'm intellectually honest, because, just like the Lululemon person and the dollar store person, and I guess I am also that person when I worked at Pizza Hut. Well, this wraps up episode 303 of the John 1911 podcast. If you want to see different stories or pictures or links of anything we discuss, please go to the website at john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good night.